England and Denmark are meeting in the second semi-final at the Euros. England is looking to reach first ever men's Euros final and first major tournament final since 1966. Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse has been assassinated inside his residence. The interim Prime Minister has declared a state of emergency. The White House called the killing horrific and offered to help with any investigation. Afghan security forces have carried out airstrikes in Baghis province to try to turn back an advance by the Taliban. Officials say special forces managed to dislodge Taliban fighters who'd taken over key government buildings. And the giant cargo ship that blocked the Suez Canal back in March is on the move again. The Evergreen was impounded by Egyptian authorities who are demanding compensation from its owners.
In southern Japan, widespread flooding is now blamed for at least 55 deaths. Australia reports 191 new coronavirus cases in Melbourne. Health officials have restricted movement to and from the city for 6 weeks in hopes of containing the virus. Google, Twitter, and Facebook suspend the processing of Chinese government requests for user data in Hong Kong after the city began enforcing new security laws. And Philippine government critics denounce a new anti-terror law that permits the detention of suspects for up to 24 days without charging them.
We start here in Japan, where the government plans to issue a fourth state of emergency in Tokyo over the coronavirus pandemic, lasting until August 22nd. New infections in the capital have been on the rise as the city prepares for the Summer Games set to kick off in just over 2 weeks. Tokyo and 9 other prefectures are currently under intensive restrictions, while Okinawa remains under the full state of emergency. The measures will end on Sunday. Government officials now plan to declare another emergency for the capital and extend it for Okinawa. The quasi-emergency measures in Saitama, Chiba, Kanagawa, and Osaka will also likely be extended until August 22nd. An official decision will come on Thursday after consultation with experts.
A new declaration is inevitable as infections are rising.
I wonder if this step will be effective since we are hosting the Olympics during the period.
920 new infections were reported in Tokyo on Wednesday. It's the highest figure since mid-May. Daily new cases have gone up week on week for 18 straight days. Right now, antivirus measures focus on high-risk areas. Restaurants have been asked to stop serving alcohol by 7 p.m. and close early, but officials in Tokyo say many have refused. There's also a cap on attendance at major events. If another emergency is declared, Olympic organizers would have to rethink their 10,000 spectator limit. Games officials have been considering whether to hold nighttime events in areas near Tokyo without fans in the stands. The 5 parties involved in the Olympics are expected to make a decision on spectators by the end of the week. Authorities across Japan confirmed nearly 2,200 new infections on Wednesday. The figure topped 2,000 for the first time in 4 weeks. Health experts are warning that the Delta variant, first detected in India, is rapidly spreading. Rescuers are digging through piles of mud left by massive mudslides in a spa resort town southwest of Tokyo. They say they aren't giving up, looking for more than 20 people who remain unaccounted for. 7 people have died. A wall of mud and debris rushed down this hill in Atami City on Saturday, damaging nearly 130 houses. About 1,700 rescue workers quickly moved in. They've carefully combed through muck and explored damaged buildings. Now the focus is on areas where residents are missing. Meanwhile, officials continue looking at a site where a valley had been filled with soil. Shizuoka Prefecture revealed that a firm from a nearby city began bringing in soil as part of a development project 12 years ago. They say the firm violated regulations by developing a larger area than it had reported to the city. Authorities also found industrial waste mixed in the soil. The prefecture and the city had ordered the firm to correct the situation.
Regarding the landfill, we found many violations or uncompleted procedures.
Officials say the danger of another mudslide has not yet passed, since more rain is in the forecast. In the Caribbean nation of Haiti, President Jovenel Moise has reportedly been assassinated at his home by unidentified attackers. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph called the killing an inhuman and barbaric act. Moise's wife was also shot and injured in the attack that reportedly took place early Wednesday morning. She's been receiving medical care. The attack comes amid a rising wave of politically linked violence. The impoverished nation also faces a growing humanitarian crisis and food shortages. There are fears of widespread disorder. Indonesia has been struggling with one of Asia's most severe coronavirus outbreaks. Case numbers are hitting new records amid acute shortages of medical oxygen. Southeast Asia's most populous country on Wednesday reported 34,379 new coronavirus infections and 1,040 fatalities. 76% of hospital beds for coronavirus patients in Indonesia are occupied. 93% of such beds are full in the capital, Jakarta. An oxygen supply shop in the city has a long line of people waiting. Many come to buy oxygen for family members sick at home. A health ministry spokesperson told NHK that about 3,000 to 4,000 tons of oxygen have been used every day in the country over the past several weeks. That's more than 500 times the amount before the pandemic.
Due to an increase in the amount of oxygen needed, distribution has been hampered.
The government is asking oxygen producers to dedicate their full supplies to medical needs. It also launched task forces to support distribution to hospitals. Officials plan to ask Singapore or China for assistance in securing oxygen if infection numbers continue to grow. The coronavirus is also surging in Myanmar, with Tuesday bringing a record high of over 3,600 daily new infections. Myanmar's state-run television said on Tuesday that the country had a total of over 170,000 cases of infection and more than 3,500 deaths. It also reported that the health ministry issued a stay-at-home order for some townships in the capital of Naypyidaw and in the central city of Bago. Confirmed cases were relatively low following the February military coup, but that was partly due to limited testing. Since late May, infection numbers have been soaring. Some cases have been found to involve the Delta variant. As infection numbers rise, ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi has urged people to get vaccinated against the coronavirus. After her court hearing, her lawyer said she'd been inoculated.
The spread of infections is more severe than before, so she asks people to get vaccinated if possible.
The country's vaccination program has seen slow progress. Some medical workers have joined in civil disobedience following the coup. There's also a growing movement among citizens to reject vaccinations administered under military rule. The World Health Organization is recommending severely ill coronavirus patients be treated with a combination of steroids and anti-rheumatic drugs, including Actemra, which was developed in Japan. The WHO on Tuesday released the results of clinical trials on some 10,000 coronavirus patients. The trials were conducted by British university researchers and others. The trials found rheumatoid arthritis drugs, including Actemra, used together with steroids, reduced the risk of death among seriously ill patients compared to standard care. The WHO initially said that steroids alone helped patients. After the clinical trials, it updated its patient care guidelines to include anti-rheumatic drugs. Actemra was developed in Japan by a team led by Osaka University specially appointed professor Kishimoto Tadamitsu and Chugai Pharmaceutical Company. Actemra is designed to suppress inflammation caused by an excessive immune response. Members of the United Nations Security Council are at odds over whether to extend a resolution allowing cross-border aid access into Syria. The resolution is due to expire on Saturday. About 3 million people have taken refuge in northwest Syria, fleeing attacks of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's government. In 2014, the UN Security Council approved a resolution to allow deliveries of food, medicines, and other relief goods to Syria from neighboring Turkey by land. On Tuesday, the Security Council had an unofficial meeting. Diplomatic sources say the United States and European countries proposed a one-year extension on humanitarian grounds, while Russia, an ally of President Assad, skipped the talks and said aid should be provided through the Syrian government. China also indicated its objection and called for discussions on easing economic sanctions on the Syrian government. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, told reporters the U.S. will continue to urge Council members to vote to extend the resolution for another 12 months.
I just want to speak briefly. How can we justify cutting off innocent children, or anyone for that matter, from food, from clean water, and from medicine? And the answer to this is simple. We can't. We must renew this mandate.
A recent cyber attack on a U.S. IT firm may have put as many as 1,500 companies at risk. Software provided to businesses by Kaseya was targeted in a ransomware attack last Friday. Companies around the world may be affected. Kaseya said in a statement on Tuesday about 800 to 1,500 small businesses could have been compromised. Kaseya's customers manage approximately 800,000 to 1 million local and small businesses using the software. Media reports say a Russia-linked hacker group known as REvil may be behind the attack. U.S. President Joe Biden said the extent of the attack appeared limited.
It appears to have caused minimal damage to U.S. businesses, but we're still gathering information to the full extent of the attack.
The White House says U.S. officials expect to meet with their Russian counterparts next week on ransomware attacks. It's time now for world weather. People along the Sea of Japan had heavy downpours that led to severe flooding Wednesday. Our meteorologist Sayaka Mori has the latest.
Hello there. A narrow band of heavy rain called training developed over western Japan on Thursday, caused the flooding as well as landslides in some areas. Especially Tottori and Shimane prefectures are experiencing the worst of it. We saw over 320 millimeters of rain in a span of only 12 hours in Tottori prefecture. That's the record for the month of July and much more than the monthly rainfall for July. The neighboring Shimane prefecture saw about 200 millimeters of rainfall. 300,000 people were told to evacuate. Now, we will continue to see a rainy season front over or near western Japan, and to the front, ample moisture will continue to flow in. Because of this, we will continue to see heavy rainfall in western Japan, especially over the Chugoku, Hokuriku, and also Kinki into the next several days. Meanwhile, across Europe, Sochi was hit by heavy rainfall on Sunday and Monday. This is the aftermath of the storm. Severe flooding has impacted the Russian resort city of Sochi. After heavy rain in the region, local rivers burst their banks, causing mud and debris to flow throughout the area. Rescuers had to evacuate 136 people from their homes and businesses, including 44 from rooftops. Officials said more than 250 houses were flooded in 7 localities. More than 2 months' worth of rain fell in just a few hours in Sochi, and we'll continue to see unstable weather conditions in and around the Black Sea region. Thunderstorms, heavy rain, and strong winds are in the forecast. Temperatures are going to be in the 30s in Vienna as well as Warsaw on Thursday, but on Monday, the Arctic region of Norway saw 34.3 degrees. It was extremely and dangerously hot on Monday in northern Norway. That's it for me. Stay safe.